If you've ever created dynamic dashboards or visualizations using Python, then I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 people would have used Plotly Dash applications for this task. Out of all the million advantages that Plotly Dash applications give you while creating dynamic reports or dynamic dashboards, the one drawback of using Plotly Dash applications is the very little integration that it has with Jupyter Notebooks or Jupyter Labs. So essentially, when you have to create a Plotly Dash application, you would have to run a Flask-based application. But as of May 2020, you don't have to do it any further going forward. So now the question comes in, is there proper integration with Jupyter and Plotly Dash apps? And the answer is yes. In comes Jupyter Dash, which gives you a seamless integration of Plotly Dash applications which are dynamic in nature with Jupyter Notebook or Jupyter Lab. So without wasting any further time, let's get started by importing the necessary modules. I am running this application on Binder. That is why I'll have to run this command called as Jupyter dash dot infer underscore Jupyter underscore proxy underscore config. So let me run this. Now that I've taken care of the small configurations that I had in mind, let's actually jump to a problem statement. I have a CSV file which is located in this location, which I save into a variable called as file underscore log. I load that CSV file into a data frame DF. These are the first 5 rows of my data frame. As you can clearly see, I have 4 columns, x1, x2, x3 and y. And if I look at the shape of the data frame, I find that there are 200 rows and 4 columns. So essentially, if I just look at the data, I have 3 feature columns ranging from x1, x2 to x3. And I have a target column called as y. So typically this looks to be like a regression problem, which it is. Rather than going forward and doing a regression analysis, the aim of this video is to bring out the advantages of using Plotly Dash applications with Jupyter Notebook and how they can streamline the entire exploratory data analysis process for you by creating dynamic graphs that will help you visualize your data better. So keeping this objective in mind, this is what we have, and let's now proceed to create a Jupyter Dash application. Now, one basic analysis that we do for every regression problem is to find out if a feature is correlated with the target variable or not. Rather than running a loop and checking if x1 feature is related to y, x2 feature is related to y, and so on and so forth, I want to essentially ease out the entire process by creating a dynamic graph or a dynamic web application which can help me solve this purpose of visualizing the different relationships that are there between features and the target variable. Keeping this objective in mind is what I've kind of designed the Jupyter Dash application. The first step is to create an instance of the Jupyter Dash application and save it into a variable called as app. Moving on to the next part, since the application is nothing else but a dynamic page that has to be rendered, it's essentially something that you'll have to code on the lines of HTML. So essentially for the application, I'll pass in some variables for the layout in terms of creating a structure for that web application. So as you can clearly see in this line, that is html.h1, I'm passing in the header for this web application, which is Jupyter-demo. Since it is a web application that I want to create, I would basically be interested in returning a dynamic graph. So that is what I'm doing here. What I'm saying here is I'll have a graph in my HTML with the ID equal to graph. If the graph is static, then essentially you're not making use of the dynamic nature of Plotly. So I want to keep changing the variable names and plot a scatter plot or plot a relationship between my features and the target variable, which is what is achieved by this piece of code. Essentially in the HTML structure, I am introducing a drop-down menu with the name input variable, ID equal to column slash dropdown, and I'm also passing in some default values along with the values that I want to keep changing. So think of it this way. My first default graph would be a correlation or a scatter plot between x1 and y, that is feature x1 and my target variable y. That would be the default graph that I want to see once the application loads up. Next up, as soon as I change from x1 to x2, I want to see a scatter plot between feature x2 and the target variable y, which is what I'm trying to define over here. What I'm saying is the drop down menu should have a default value of the first column name, which is x1 in our case. And the input options should have label and value key value pairs such that the key value pairs are extracted from columns again. So essentially my drop down will have 4 entries: x1, x2, x3 and x4. That's how you define the structure of your app. The first part of the app structure is your header, which is Jupyter Dash Demo. Your second part is basically the graph, which you want to keep dynamically updating based on the input you provide. And the third part is the drop down input that you're kind of providing, which would keep changing the graph dynamically. So that's the basic structure or the layout of the web application. Going forward, I create a callback. Now, given you have an application, you will have a set of inputs and you will have a set of outputs. Now, what are the inputs and what the output is what you'll have to define in this piece of code. So what I'm saying here is I want my output to be equal to graph, which is nothing else but a figure, and my inputs are nothing else but the set of inputs that I provide. In this example, I have just one input, so I'm not kind of maneuvering a lot of things. So I have my input as column drop down, which is nothing else but this drop down list which is there, and along with the drop down that I'm specifying, what the input value is something that is captured from this key value pair. So again I repeat, this part of the code is just defining my input and output to the web applications. Let's proceed forward. Given that my graph is a dynamic graph that I've thought about, that is why I've kind of chosen Plotly over say Matplotlib or Seaborn. Essentially what I want to do is with every change in input, the figure should be able to adapt itself to the new inputs and give me a visualization as soon as possible. So what I mean to say by that is if I change my input from x1 feature to x2 feature, the graph should automatically update and give me a new scatter plot, which is what happens in this part of the code. So the update figure takes in the input as column and returns a px.scatter, which is Plotly's way of saying a scatter plot, wherein I'm passing in the data frame df. The x-axis values would come in from the column that I pass in through this input. The y-axis values are something that will come in from the df value itself, that is df.y, which is our target variable. And I also provide a title to my scatter plot, which is scatter plot itself. So this part of the code updates my web application. This part of the code is basically for the input output definition. And this part of the code is to create a layout in my web application. Having done everything, now I am in a position to run my application. So the way I do that is by calling app.run_server and I specify mode equal to inline. Now once I do that, essentially I will have a Plotly web application running in the Jupyter environment that would be dynamic in nature. That is something which is unique and it's never happened before, and going forward I can see a lot of people making use of dynamic visualizations in Jupyter Notebook. So without keeping you waiting for the suspense, I'll kind of unfold the suspense by running the cell. So the web application has now loaded and this is the plot. It looks like a simple static plot, but remember it is a dynamic plot. So as you can clearly see, the HTML has the header, the scatter plot has the scatter plot title. We also have the input that we defined, which is x1. So now let me change it to x2 and the graph dynamically changes. If I go to x3, the graph dynamically changes again. If I say how is y related to y, I'll get a straight line with 45 degrees angle. So that's how, say, uniquely you can say find out relationships between variables going forward using Plotly. Now if I have to go through this graph, so essentially x1 is directly correlated to y. You can see like a linear trend which is very obvious from the graph. With x2 it's there, but it's a bit scattered as well, not as good as say how x1 was related to y. When I come to x3, it's basically noise. There's no direct relationship that I can see between x3 and y. You also have the ability of zooming in. So essentially I can zoom in into this piece of data as well. I can always auto scale and go back to the normal level. So again, all the advantages that you have for a Plotly web application can be directly integrated into Jupyter Notebook, and you can say create very good dynamic visualizations in Jupyter Notebook itself. So this would kind of ease out a lot of say looping activities that you had to do in order to create visualizations and understand your data as well. So I'll take this opportunity to thank the Jupyter Dash team that has worked tirelessly to bring this feature to life. This would make life of a lot of data scientists very easy going forward in order to create dynamic visualizations in Jupyter Notebook itself. So this was my attempt in explaining how you can better utilize Jupyter Dash in your workflow. I hope you found this video informative, and if you do like the content that I post on my channel, it would be really helpful if you can click the subscribe button and also press the bell icon to be notified for future amazing videos that I'll keep posting on data science and machine learning. Thanks again for watching the video.